the album's called Tetracyclics. They're like antidepressants, basically. Well, anti-anxiety antidepressants. And I got prescribed them maybe, well, in 2013, do you know what I mean? And when I got prescribed them, which is why I wrote the whole album, to be fair, I thought, if I take these, I'm gonna lose something, do you know what I mean? Like, and I guess I imagined the death of Trademark as opposed to the death of myself by taking the medication, do you know what I mean? So, and not only in that song, but the themes are woven in and out of it, to be fair. But yeah.
I carry the casket past this plane of existence where the rain is persistent and there's no such thing as pain or fame. In an instant I became the resistance.
You know what, I've been listening to music for, well, I've been listening to rap music for a very long time. I think I was introduced to rap 6, 7, 8 years old probably. Previous to that, my dad used to play soul records. A lot of soul music was in the house, a lot of reggae, which obviously feeds into rap anyway. So I think I'd already liked a lot of different music. I already sung songs, so I always used to sing along and had an okay voice, you know what I mean?
No, I didn't know
So
that.
yeah. So to be fair, I probably started singing before I started rapping, and I think I can't remember, but vaguely remember that I definitely wrote a couple of songs before I'd probably even heard rap. 6 years old, like, and funnily enough, I probably was about similar age because my daughter actually wrote her first song. She's not musical. I don't know if that's what she wants to do, but just, I guess it just runs in the family that you hear music, you want to create it. So I think, probably, and then as soon as I heard rap, I knew I wanted to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of different stuff out at the time. The first one I heard was probably called K9 Posse.
Stepped into the party, made my way to the stage. As I seen the girls clocking, they was rocking in a 10-foot cage.
Which not as popular or even well known in this generation now, but they were quite big. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had a cassette of it in England, and they were from America, so that shows they must have been fairly big. And that was, like, I shouldn't have had that at that age. That was like Snoop Dogg style gangster rap. Do you know what I mean? So obviously I fell in love with it because of how bad it was, and it was cool and all that. You know what I mean? And I just started to write. I think just started to write raps, poems you could even call them, I guess. And obviously most rappers start rapping along with other raps. I think that's how you learn to rap in the first place. And then going on from there, when I started to listen to more technical rap or stuff with more purpose, Wu-Tang kind of deeper meanings to the music, and started getting older, I think that's when I realised that I can do it to a technical level. Do you know what I mean? So and then I think even then I had a long period of time where I just rapped. Like, me and my friends would be out on the corner just drinking or whatever, as you do when you're in your young 16, 17, 18 year old.
Like freestyle and stuff.
Yeah, and that's all I did. And sometimes I'd drop the bars that I've written, but most of the time I just freestyle. So that's all we did all day, just rapping along. Never thought about making a tune in the studio, recording what I was doing. Obviously, maybe in the back of my mind it's there somewhere, but I had no aspiration to go to a studio whatsoever until I met someone when I was 16. And he was like, he was in a band in a local, like a soul band in the local area. He came from Birmingham, Sam his name was. And he knew I could rap just because I'd been about rapping, and I guess word gets around, you know what I mean? And and so that was my first experience in the studio when I was 16. I got took to do this song in the studio that I had to write, and I remember it, man. I honestly believed that I was like Michael Jackson or something, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I remember telling people, yo, I'm going studio, you know, and they're like, yo, you've got, yeah, man, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So you was excited for it? You weren't like nervous when you?
I was super nervous, man. Yeah. Do you know what? I've been more nervous though in beyond that with things within music. Do you know what I mean? So whether I was so new, so naive, I didn't realise that it's quite important, or how important it is, or that, mate, this is your first studio session of a whole lifetime of studio sessions. I probably didn't realise the gravity of it back then. Do you know what I mean? But so I wasn't that bad. I don't remember being that. I don't remember like flopping or getting nervous or choking on the bars or nothing like that. I pretty much delivered it, which is, I'm like that in the studio anyway, to be fair.
The first time then.
Yeah, I was all right. The writing though, bro, like I can't stand by that. Do you know what I mean? 16-year-old me, I still had an American accent twang as well, and yeah, I think, but that was the jump off. So I guess there's different points in my life where I kind of knew I loved music, and then knew I wanted to do music, and then knew I loved rap, knew I wanted to do rap, and then even beyond that was the point where I wanted to do it professionally. Do you know what I mean? And even that's beyond that. I mean, you're going up to like my mid-20s then, before I said, do you know what, I actually want to make releases, make albums, do gigs, sign to labels if it's possible, whatever, go on the radio, you know. So yeah, it's ongoing, bro, ongoing really.
Cool.
Carry the Casket. So I had all the beats before any of the concepts. So first of all, the music will have said, so I can't specifically remember writing that, but I know that at the time when I wrote it, that would have spoke to me. I can't remember writing it. What I mean is I can't remember what I felt when I wrote it. Do you know what I mean? But then so I probably got the idea of the how dark it was gonna feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then obviously I start filling the words in after. Do you know what I mean? And then, to be fair, so it's a bit of a funny one really, this, because, and it ties in with the theme of the album. Like the album's called Tetracyclics. They're like antidepressants basically. Well, anti-anxiety antidepressants, and I got prescribed them maybe, well, in 2013. Do you know what I mean? And when I got prescribed them, which is why I wrote the whole album, to be fair, I thought if I take these, I'm gonna lose something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
with out of myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I thought so.
Do you think it was going to make you like numb, basically? To certain
I think it's probably paranoia, which obviously ties in with anxiety, of course. But I honestly believe that I wasn't going to be able to rap anymore or perform or something. I thought it was going to affect me in a way that it would make me feel better, but I'd lose something. Do you know what I mean? Like, why I felt like that, I don't know. Paranoid of medication, paranoid of anything that someone says you got to take for the rest of your life, or I believe in other ways of healing if you can, but I also understand sometimes things need medication. It's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? You know, bad bacteria gets killed with antibiotics. You can't magic it away. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's why I started writing the album. I've always wanted to do the album, and that just happened to happen at the same time. So if that hadn't happened at the same time, then the album would be completely different. And so during that kind of dark path you go down, is at some point writing the album, I came to Carry the Casket. And so the things that come into your mind, or come into my mind when I'm writing it, is like your own mortality. Do you know what I mean? Like, and how it would be to be carrying your own casket. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I guess I imagine the death of Trademark as opposed to the death of myself by taking the medication. Do you know what I mean? So, and not only in that song, but the themes are woven in and out of it, to be fair.
Okay.
But yeah. And I haven't told anyone that yet, but that is the theme of the album. But I will be telling people, like, 'cause it's probably important, but, you know.
I carry the casket
Productions.
past this plane of existence where the rain is persistent and there's no such thing as pain or fame. In an instant I became the resistance, the undead promise, the aim, the distance, the shots, the game, the wisdom, the